Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this beautiful morning. Hope and pray that every one of you must have a wonderful journey at the Prem Sarovar in Vrindavan. Also, I would like to recognize the Bhavana Luthra who joined first time, and also Satya Sar Prabhu, I think, and also Vani has joined. Welcome, and hope and pray that holy name may bestow their mercy so you can join every single day. So those spiritual warriors who made our journey successful was Ishwar Krishna Prabhu, Yamuna Sundari Mataji, Ivy Gautam. I forgot to tag Subra Mataji, Nepal. She has been not joining, must be sick, because she was so steady to join at about 2 to 15. Hope and pray that she fell well. Ravi Pipilya Prabhu, Vrajeshwari Priya, Govinda Gita Mataji, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Kasturi Manjari Mataji, Sistastika Devidasi, Parmeshwari Devidasi, Adi Gopal Prabhu, Amol and Smita Panchpande, Raghav Chaitanya Prabhu, Girivardhari Prabhu, Shriya Prabhu, Sitala Priya Devidasi, Sachinandan Krishna Prabhu, Srinivas Acharya Prabhu, Hanuman Prabhu, Pratmesh Prabhu, Nadia Kumar Prabhu, Shramant Prabhu, Leela Manjari Mataji, Rag Bhakti Mataji, Survangi Suyam Devidasi, Narsimha Leela Chaitanya Prabhu, Shuganraj Prabhu, Aradhana Mataji, Vajeshwari Pran Devidasi, I didn't see her name, Janki Khan Prabhu, Labanga Latika Mataji, Tapti Ghosh Mataji, Manmatha Anand Prabhu, Sundari Radha Mataji. Even though he is traveling, he joined very early today. Hari Bol. Pandurang Devdas Prabhu, Damodarati Mataji, Sikha and Pankaj Gupta, Rohit Mishra Prabhu, Pranath Gopal Prabhu, Radhika Pran Devidasi, Devendra Krishna Prabhu, Devyan Sen Saloni, Vraj Vinod Prabhu, Anand Vinodini Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Rukmini Priya Devidasi, Gopal Hari Prabhu, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Namanan Prabhu, Prem Vinodini Mataji, Madhvi Gopi Mataji, Raghunath Priya Mataji, Ganga Devidasi, Uttam Bhakta Prabhu, Vallabhi Mataji, Rajendra Prabhu, Abhay Prabhu, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, Amal Atmanam Prabhu, Gadadhar Chandra Prabhu, Tulsi Priya Devidasi, Jai Govinda Prabhu, Bhadra Bharti Mataji, Sarvatara Prabhu, Amal Nam Prabhu, Barsana Rani Mataji, Govinda Mohini Devidasi, Krita Lakshan Prabhu, Matangi Gopi Devidasi, Manoj Kapoor Prabhu, Kamal Priya Mataji, Karunamai Mataji, Radha Charan Prabhu, Abhay Charan Prabhu, Shukruti Devidasi, Kamini Priya Mataji, Sankarsan and Manjari, Sundari Leela Mataji, Sarmishta Sahi, Mamta Mataji, Balram Prabhu, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Harikatha Mataji, Rasakita Prabhu, Anand Radhika Mataji, Advait Prabhu, Rajesh and Sweta, Chintamani Devidasi, Amit Prabhu, Prem Priya Padma Mataji, Suchitra Devidasi, C. Kumar Prabhu, Purvi Parma Mataji, I didn't say, Haribol, Kanta Mataji, Rasmi Mataji, Shrikant Ji, Nisant Sarma Prabhu, Rati Prabhu, Nitya Navli Devidasi, Pavitra Lalita Devidasi, Priya Kishori Devidasi. I didn't see Neeraj Srivastan today, Haribo. Madhvi Mataji, Priya Kishori Devidasi. I think those are the devotees who joined today. So let's hear the wonderful song before we will read from the Jaiva Dharma. Hare Krishna.
Madhuram madhure भ्योऽपि मङ्गलमदायकम् नामैव केवलम् आब्रह्मस्तम्भपर्यन्तम् सर्वं मायामयं जगत् सत्यं सत्यं पुनः सत्यं हरे नामैव केवलम् सगुरु सपिता चापि समाता बन्धवोऽपि स शिक्षये चेत् सदा स्मर्तुं हरेर्नामैव केवलम् निश्वासेन हि विश्वासः कदा रुद्धो भविष्यति कीर्तनीया मतो बाल्या हरेर्नामैव केवलम् सदा वसेत्तत्र यत्र भागवता जना गायन्ति भक्तिभावेन हरेर्नामैव केवलम् अहो दुःखं महादुःखं दुःखतरं यत काचार्थं विस्मृतं रत्न हरेर्नामैव केवलम् नियतां कर्णो नियतां वच गीयतां नित्यं हरेर्नामैव केवलम् त्रिणीकृत्य जगत्सर्वं राजते सकलोपरि चिदानन्दमयं शुद्धं हरेर्नामैव केवलम् मधुरं मधुरेभ्योऽपि मङ्गलेभ्योऽपि मङ्गलम् पावनं पावनेभ्योऽपि हरेर्नामैव केवलम्
Thank you very much, Ishwar Krishna Prabhu, for playing a wonderful Kevalastakam. Also, Manani Mataji, Sweddi Prabhu, and Neeraj Srivastava Prabhu was joined. Sorry. So, before we read, we would like to offer our humble obeisances at the desk of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who has given us a treasure of our life. The book can change our life. And we pray to his divine lotus feet that bestow his mercy so we can imbibe those instructions in our life. So we read that verse, which is very famous, very dear to me. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasya te kathita he artha prakasante mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all imports of Vedic knowledge automatically rebel. So that's where we stop. So we will continue. The word Parabhakti indicate Suddha Bhakti. I do not wish to dwell deeper into this topic. If need be, you can research further. To put it in a nutshell, those who have developed Shraddha in the process of Ananya Bhakti are suitable candidate to scrutinize the sections of the Vedas, propounding the higher tattva, the essence of the Vedas. As for the great souls who have attained Ananya Bhakti and have thus been crowned with Krishna Prem, they are qualified as the exemplary propounders of this absolute knowledge, the conclusions of the Vedas. Chudamani, quote, have you already concluded that the second section of the Vedas, dealing with the Tattva, the absolute truth, only support the teaching of Vaishnava Dharma and no other theology? Vaishnava Das Babaji. There is but one Dharma without plurality, designated as Nitya Dharma, which is also called Vaishnava Dharma. The different religious instructions of Naimitika Dharma are like the ascending step of the ladder of Vaishnava Dharma. The Supreme Lord Himself declares in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.14.3, Kalena nasta pralaye vaniyam veda shambhita mayado brahmane prokta dharma yasyam mada atmakaha. The Supreme Lord says, O Uddhava, those instructions that propound the eternal Dharma, that inspired attachment to me, are compiled in the Vedas. By the destructions brought by the ravages of time known as Pralay, they seem to be lost. At the beginning of the new creation, I will again instruct Brahma with the same knowledge of the Vedas. Kathopanishad 1-15 state, Sarve Veda yat padam amanananti tapamsi sarvani cha yat vadanti yat icchanto brahmacharyam charanti te padam sangrahena bravimi atum iti etat. The Supreme Being, whom the Vedic literature preeminently described as the supreme object of attainment, is Sri Vishnu. Above whom, however, I'll speak only in brief. All austerities have been ordained for performance for the purpose of His pleasure and satisfaction. To attain Him, the brahmacharis go to the abode of their Guru and, maintaining celibacy, study the Vedas. That supreme absolute truth is manifested by the sound Om. Furthermore, Kathopanishad 139 states, Vigyan sarat hiryastu manaha pragahavan naraha so dvonaha param apnoti tad Vishnu paramam padam. One who possesses Vigyan, realization of the Lord as his charioteer, and who thus maintain a steady control of the mind, which is like the reins that control the horses of the bodily senses, crosses this material reality and attain the supreme abode of Sri Vishnu, who is the omnipresent super soul known as Vasudeva. There are many further evidences in the Vedas, concluded Vaishnavadas Babaji. At this point in the discussion, the faces of Devidas, Vidya Ratna, and his friends were looking decidedly pinched and dry, and the enthusiasm of the Brahman, Krishna, Chudamani seemed to be flagging. It was already 5 in the afternoon, and the unanimous decisions of the congregation was to hold the debate. The Brahmana Pandit got up from their seats and took leave for the Vaishnavas, unhesitating in the praise of the depth of Vaishnavadas Babaji's erudition. Loudly glorifying Harinam, the Vaishnavas dispersed to their individual dwelling. Thus end the 6th chapter of the Jaiva Dharma and tell Nitya Dharma, birth and caste differences. So we will be embarking on the chapter number 7. Nitya Dharma and Samsar, material existence. This will be really relevant to us. We want to remain in Nitya Dharma. At the same time, we are living in the material existence. This will really give us some profound information. The ancient township of Saptagran, with its predominant mercantile class, was situated upon the banks of holy river Saraswati. And for hundreds of years, many thousands of gold traders and jewelers had lived there. By the mercy of Sri Nityananda, since the time of Sri Udaran Dutt, this trading society had practiced with deep sincerity the congregational chanting of the Harinam. Yet, presently, a certain wealthy but miserly trader, Chandidas Vanik, had refused to join the congregational chanting, being afraid of a possible increase in his expenses. Similarly, his wife, Damayanti Devi, who had also become infected with the parsimonious tendencies of her husband, never invited guests nor served the Brahmanas, Vaishnavas. The couple had 4 sons. Wonderful. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us in a simple story. And 2 daughters from early in their marriage. Gradually, they had settled, and daughters by marriage, and were now keeping aside immense savings for the sons. In a household that is not visited by Vaishnavas, the family members, especially the children, easily lose their charitable disposition. And so as Chandidas' children had grown older, they had become most selfish. In fact, they had become so greedy for the wealth of their parents that they now began to wish them dead. The worries and the pain of Chandidas and Damayanti knew no end. what Haribo. And I think that's the reason we have to set a good example so our children can see where our priorities were in our life. Gradually, Chandidas and Damayanti found suitable brides for their sons and launched them into household life. However, the daughters-in-law, as a result of close association with their husbands, also adopted self-centered ways and soon also desired the quick demise of their parents-in-law. Nowadays I have heard from the teenagers that the girl always asks, do you have any baggage? How many baggage do you have? One or two. And if they hear the two baggage, they go to the next person. This is the time and day we are living. What a situation. Okay, so also deserve demise of the parents-in-law. Having become capable of handling the business independently of their aging parents and soon managing all the shop transactions themselves, the sons gradually divided most of their father's wealth among themselves. Never make mistakes to give all the money to the children. One day, Chandidas called his family together. He said, quote, listen, I was able to save a great deal of money for you, all by being thrifty. Your mother and I were never extravagant in regard to our lifestyle, eating or dress. Biggest mistake. As we are now approaching old age, it is actually your duty to serve and care for us. But I notice that you are not looking after us properly, which is causing us great pain and suffering. You deserve it, right? Therefore, I have hidden a fair amount of wealth which I give to the one who is obedient to me. That's a good thing he has done, Haribo. Maybe he's just saying it for the sake of saying, because who knows? The sons and daughters listened mutely to their father's monotonous monologue, finally dispersing and meeting clandestinely somewhere else later. There, they conspired to send their parents far away, confiscate the hidden wealth, and share it among themselves. They were concerned that out of sentimentality, their father might eventually donate his money to some undeserving person outside the family. They were convinced that their parents had buried the treasure in a secret place in their bedroom, and to take the treasure away from them now was the most sensible decision. Haribo. One morning, Haricharan, the eldest of the son, approached his father and feeling concerns and humility suggested, quote, why don't you and our beloved mother visit at least once the holy place of pilgrimage, Navadvip Dham, and thus fulfill the purpose of your human birth? I have heard that in Kali Yuga, no other place of pilgrimage is as auspicious as Navadvip Dham. The journey to Navadvip Dham is quite inexpensive. If you cannot travel on foot, a passenger boat can be easily hired to take you upstream for a few pence. There is even a Vaishnavi lady who wants to accompany you. Chandidas informed his wife about the proposal, asking for her advice. Damayanti Devi was overcome with joy. So they made plans together. Quote, our earlier talk has had a positive effect upon our sons. Actually, we are not too old to walk to Navdeep. Let us take the route that will take us through Kalna and Santipur. Consulting the religious almanac, they picked an auspicious date and started their pilgrimage, taking the Vaishnava with them. They arrived in Kalna the next day, where they found a guest house, cooked, and were just beginning their meal when a traveler from their hometown walked in. Recognized them, he broke the harsh news. Quote, your sons have broken open your room and grabbed all of your possessions. Plus, they have looted and shared out your secret savings. Now both of you are no longer welcome, even in your own house. News of that loss delivered a terrible blow to Damayanti and Chandidas. They fell into dismal, grey melancholy. Their food lay half-eaten and forgotten as tear of self-pity soaked their frail frames. Meanwhile, their companion, the Vaishnavi, tried to console them with sensible spiritual advice. She said, quote, do not be so attached to home and hearth. Come, let us continue on to Navdeep and become medicants. We can build a small ashram for Vaishnavas and beg food for sustenance. Such a life is better than to go back to those who have become so evil and inimical to you, even though you have done so much for them. Chandidas and his wife, still under the shock of the atrocious behavior of their sons and daughter-in-law, begin repenting. Too late. We will not return to them, better to die. Thinking in this way, they stayed in Ambikagram in the house of a Vaishnava for a few days. From there, they went to see Santipur and toured all the places of Navdeep, eventually staying in Mayapur in the home of a merchant relative. Then they visited the 7 localities of Kuliagram, which is situated on the opposite bank of the Ganga to Navdeep. However, after this lengthy time of traveling, they began to feel homesick, and affection for their son and family began to well up in their heart. How much attachment is there, huh? Haribol. Chandidas said, come, let us return to our Saptagram. It is possible that our own son will not show us any affection. Their Vaishnavi companion quickly retorted, quote, have you no pride? This time they will definitely murder you, unquote. Her words had a sobering effect upon the couple, and they realized that most likely she was speaking the truth. Chandidas turned to her, saying, quote, my dear respected lady, you have made us wise to the stark reality. Please return to your home. We will remain here and find a proper spiritual guide, taking instructions from him. we will live our lives humbly by begging. The Vaishnavi left them and returned home, abandoning all hopes of return to their home. The mercantile couple, Damayanti Devi and Chandidas, plunged themselves into the task of building a small dwelling in the village of Kulia on a property owned by one Chaukuri Chattopadhyay. They went around soliciting help from the village gentry, constructed a hut, and began to live there. Kulyagram is a holy place. It was common knowledge that if one resided there, all one's previous sins and offenses would be exonerated. Therefore, it was known as Aparad Bhajan Path, the place that absolves offenses. One day, Chandidas told his wife, quote, O mother of Hari, it is not high time that we stop talking or even thinking about our children. We must have committed many sinful activities to have taken birth in the family of merchants. Influenced by our association and surrounding, we were always stingy and never hospitable either to guests or to Vaishnava sadhus. Now, if we can earn some money here, we should try to be generous and hospitable and serve the sadhus. This will ensure for us a better birth in the next life. I have decided to open a grocery store and will borrow some money from the landlord to start the business. Chandidas is a businessman. So I think this would be a very nice story. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is the reality of this world. Some people realize soon, some will realize later, or maybe too late. But with those thoughts, at least we know for sure that the knowledge has been given to us. We can't blame nobody. If we have to go through those circumstances, we should blame ourselves, right? With those thoughts, always remain happy, jubilant, and totally fearless. And whoever you come across, give them a kind word that their life can also become successful and totally fearless. With those thoughts, I would like to offer my humble obeisances at desk of these wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Despite their household life, I'm totally retired. I don't go out. I don't do anything except gardening and vacuum my house. I do help cut some vegetable when my wife need help. Whenever they ask any help, I help them. But otherwise, so those devotees are so glorious. From Houston, from India, New Jersey, Virginia, Boston, Boise, Atlanta, Alachua, Austin, College Station, San Jose, Tempe, Phoenix, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Naperville, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Brampton, and New Orleans. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhaya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnava